What's going on? What's going on? MVP Sports Talk Radio. Can't get the intro music player here to go, so.
Shame.
So we're just running.
Shame on
right
the technical difficulties.
The
Shame on them.
We're running right into it. Starting late today. A couple scheduling things, but we wanted to make sure we had a show today.
Work's killing us, guys.
Yeah.
My work is killing me.
I know my shirt's still wet from before here. Crazy.
Well,
busy.
We at MVP Sports Talk Radio would like to apologize for such the inconsistent schedule as of late. We are working on possibly maybe changing dates, maybe changing times, or changing days when we meet. But, we'll be working on it and hopefully bringing the crowd back, bringing the viewers back.
We're getting into that point, too, where the sports all kind of end. Once hockey, basketball
starting to be
ends.
a dead period. Yeah, it's
so you really just rely on baseball. So generally, in the past, we've taken a couple of weeks off at a time. So that may be something we do too, where we take 2 or 3 weeks off, and then we switch the date, and we just advertise like crazy about the new date, push for the new date like crazy, and then roll into the new date. Because when we went to Wednesday nights,
we can change it up. We don't have to talk necessarily just sports.
Yeah, we can change
it up too. Not like a let the boys talk type of thing, but
yeah.
No,
I know in the past because originally we started on I think Saturdays.
Did you?
Or was it Saturday or Thursday? I don't remember the day. And then we changed it to Wednesday, and we changed it during something like this. So it was when we had the sports hiatus where it was really just baseball running right before football started. So we winded down, took a week, switched the date, relaunched. And that might be something we do again. We got to see. COVID really switched everybody's schedules up. Drew obviously getting a new job was different days and stuff than last year. So last year, this day worked great for him. With the new job now, this day doesn't work for him. Tim's got a bunch going on. I have a bunch going on. I try to always be here. And then obviously, Ryan, your work's been busy and crazy. And so,
to say the least,
a lot going on. So we'll look into the days, but we got to try to be a little more consistent. We're going to try to get everybody in studio. So we'll keep playing with it until we get it right, because we do enjoy doing it.
We'll get it right. We will get it right, folks.
Yeah, of course.
We will.
And with that, we want to make sure we had a show tonight. I know we started a little late, like I said, but, we wanted to get the pre-Bruins Game 3 show on tonight. I had a brain fart. I know you did too, because you agreed. I thought they were on tonight at one point. I even put the TV on in here. And then I realized they're not on tonight. I Googled it. I'm like, is it 7:30 again tonight? And I looked, and I'm like, tomorrow. So I had a brain fart, and I know you did too. It's like that 2-day gap.
A little bit of a brain fart, just little.
So, but a series tied 1-1.
Diving right in.
Yeah, series tied 1-1. Let's dive in. If Tim shows up late, we'll probably re-dive in a little bit. But I want to kick it off with some hockey. And kind of, just dive right in. I mean, what are your thoughts on the series? Again, 1-1 tied up. You had an overtime. I guess you kind of call it upset. Not really an upset when you battle back, but, a tough overtime loss in Game 2. So, what are your thoughts on it?
Game 2. So, Game 1 was kind of like a culmination of what the team can do when they perform at their best, right? In terms of the Islanders are not nearly as talented and not nearly as deep as you are.
Yeah.
But they're more physical. They're a physical, grind it, dump and chase type of team that we used to talk about.
Yeah.
So that first game, I thought would set the tone for the series. That's what I was hoping, essentially. We got you. Number one, you had great defense in the neutral zone, and you weren't giving up giveaway after giveaway after giveaway in Game 1. We were solid defensively, solid communication, but still, you only get your scoring from your top two lines, right?
Yeah.
The biggest concern for me, especially in this series, when it's going to be a physical series. It'll go 6 or 7. I think it'll go 6 or 7 easily.
Yeah,
I said Bruins in 6.
Yeah, I think 6 as well.
I said Bruins in 6, but I will not be surprised if it went 7 either. But with that being said, you have to come in Game 2, and you have to expect the Islanders to make adjustments, and they did.
Yeah.
And they absolutely did. They crushed you at the boards. They were faster to the pucks, and they wanted it more. And your defense was crumbled that entire game 2. And the fact that you played so terribly in game 2 drove me insane. And we lose in overtime?
Yeah.
That's the encouraging sign you can take away from it. As for the overtime goal, say whatever you want about Tuukka Rask. That wasn't his fault.
No.
It's a breakaway goal. The dude made a nice shot. Blocker side, high blocker. On any goalie, even Carey Price, who I think is the best in the league, he'd struggle making that save too.
Yep.
Right? Like, that's a tough save to make. But, like, you expect and you want Tuukka Rask to step up and make a big save in that moment. But with what Lozon did with that pass, it was just lazy. It's just pure laziness. It really was.
And I
don't. And I mean, even the other goals that were let up before that, I don't consider them soft goals. I didn't consider them soft goals.
The only one I wasn't a fan of.
A lot of them were deflected and a lot of screens.
The only one I wasn't a fan of really was the 5-hole goal, but you could see Tuukka got hung up trying to get his pad under, and it wasn't like a misplay. He just you lose to a small gap, and you just couldn't tuck that pad in right, and I think he thought the defender in front of him was going to play it a little better. So it's just one of those things where, like, luck of the draw right there. But yeah, I mean, that overtime goal was a great shot. It's a great move. You almost seen it coming.
You have to give credit to the shot.
Yeah.
But you also have to acknowledge that defender Lozon completely crapped his pants.
Which is frustrating, too, because he was one of the better, the more, I guess, hopeful defenders. You know what I mean? I know we talked when he was injured and was going to miss a couple games last series, and we were talking about how he was going to be it's going to be a big thing not to have him in a couple games. And, now there's talk in all the forums of, do you play him or do you sit him? Who,
Rask?
No, Lozon.
Oh, Lozon, yeah. Because he just came back from injury. Right?
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. So, we had talked last series about, a bigger loss to not have him in. And then now, you fast forward and we're talking about benching him. And so it's just kind of one of those things how hockey unravels and how things kind of, play out. And, I don't know. The Bruins defense to me, and like I said 2 weeks ago now, the Bruins defense is just struggle. It's a struggle train. The definition of a struggle bus is their defense, right? Mm-hmm. You get Riley. You think, whatever, we picked up another guy. And then Riley plays the blue line terribly. He can never keep it in the zone. So when you have good, Riley's a momentum killer for me. Like, you get awesome pass work, you get dominant zone play.
It's him and McAvoy that lead the team in ice time.
Yeah,
as well. I think Riley's pretty solid defensively. But
Riley
has a lot of he makes a lot of mental errors, which tick me off.
He's a great defender. He's very physical. He's very good on poke checks and breaking up passes. He can play well. He's got a lot of game knowledge. He knows how to play across crease well, unlike some of the other younger defenders. And so there's a lot of great to him. The problem I have with him is the blue line and
Yep.
For us, and whether you try to switch sides and maybe rotate him to the other side to where he's playing more shallow off the blue line, but it's like little gimme passes, and you can't contain them, and you're then putting it out of the zone so we have to reset. That kills momentum, and it happened, I would say 6 or 7 times last game, and it's happened every single game with him, and it's just a buzzkill. Even as a fan, it's really bad, and you can't do that, especially when he's playing in line with, you get that cross mix, and then you get the perfection line out, and then he's out there with him, which does happen on a quicker change out. And he kills that whole momentum. He kills that whole drive. And it's a problem. And again, and then you go into turnovers too. And I echoed turnovers a couple weeks ago, and then we get burned on a turnover.
Yep.
And it's just like tiny little things, silly little things. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have a team that comes down 3-1, you get 2 unanswered. You should dominate that overtime.
You should.
You have all the momentum. You have the entire shift in the game. You had just about a half a game in your favor, dominating, and then you come out flat-footed. And there was a ton of great opportunities, but defensively we were just flat-footed. I mean, even that second line. I
feel like especially with the fans being back, right? I feel like we went into game 2 just feeling like we could just stay with the same game plan, the same mentality, and just walk over these guys.
And I think at 3-1, that should have been eye-opening.
And it was. And it was because you dominated the third period the way you should have.
And then they come back and it's like, okay, we just came back and we're good now. Let's just play how we were again. Mm-hmm. No, you need to keep that momentum. You need to keep that force and that drive. And it's just really frustrating to see because, realistically, that game should have been in the bag for them going into that overtime. You had some of the best opportunities. And, again, to lose on a turnover, obviously they earned it. It's a great shot. But it's one of those things where it's like, they didn't set up a great pass play. They didn't set up a great, feed into the net. It's just like a stupid turnover that shouldn't have happened, and you're still in the game. And I think that's the tougher part. Thankfully, it's only game 2. It's not a game 6, game 7 where you make a mistake like that. But, second round of playoffs, those kind of mistakes can't happen.
Especially after, last series with Washington was a physical, tough series to win, and a lot of close games, especially early on.
Yeah.
So you don't want to, and you had a lot of overtime games too. You don't want to make that a habit, especially when especially when you're going to if you expect to take care of the Islanders here, you're going to see Tampa next round. You're going to see Tampa in the final, in the Eastern Conference final. Yeah. You're going to see them. So if that happens, Tampa is just a whole nother monster. So you don't necessarily want to try and grind these wins out with the Islanders. You want to take care of them, and you want to take care of them early, which means I think tomorrow night is going to be a crucial game in Game 3 where we have to respond. We have to.
100%.
You have to respond, and I'm not going to call it a must-win because the series won't be over if you lose tomorrow night.
Yeah, but you need one of two.
You're going to have to grind it out.
Yeah, you got to come back to Boston 2-2. Minimum.
At least
2-2. I believe the fan count is still down there, so I'm optimistic that's going to work in our favor. I have to look it up, but I believe they're still operating at 25% capacity in New York, which could be huge for us. Could be huge to not have that full crowd feeling, and that could help the momentum on our end a bit, hopefully. And, there's just a lot of little things they have to do. Offensively, they've been jiving. They've been working great. I think the second line really needs to step up. I think DeBrusk needs to find himself. He's had a terrible year.
DeBrusk is just a shell of himself.
To go from
when
his
I saw who got hurt, Craig Smith got hurt.
Yep.
And Cassidy decided to put DeBrusk on the second line again with Krejci because he used to play on the second line last year, especially, and I just gave me the chills, man. Seeing him with players like Krejci and Taylor Hall and how well they've meshed together, I feel like DeBrusk just kind of almost is pulling them back.
Yeah.
But especially what I saw with DeBrusk, especially in the last series against Washington, he just got dominated.
Yep,
physical. He's getting out muscled on all puck battles.
He's terrible on
every
boards.
Puck battle. He loses every single one.
Yep, 100%. Terrible on the boards.
Either loses the puck or he falls on the ice trying to get it.
I was talking to Jess the other night watching the game, and I'm like, it's unreal how terrible he's become. And I'm not trying to bash him, but it's like, we went to a game maybe 2 years ago. I think it was the year before COVID. And I remember him scoring. I think he had his 20th goal of the year or something like that. It was right before playoffs. And I think he was, mid-20s goals. Up there with Bergie and Marshy Pasta. And it was great to have another goal scorer like that. Now, you never hear his name. He's never doing anything impressive. He's either turning the puck over or losing a puck battle.
No joke.
And he can barely stay on the ice. He's gassed every time. He doesn't do anything, and he's gassed. I don't understand what happened to him. I see him go out there and get beat up and come back and he's gassed. And then I see Taylor Hall sitting next to him, and he looks like he's ready to play 3 more games on top of what he's doing right now. Mm-hmm. So to me, I don't know if they need to take him out of the sequence and plug somebody else in. A little mix up. I know, obviously going to keep Hall and Krejci together, but maybe they need a little mix-up with some of these guys because I don't think DeBrusk's the answer, and I think...
Not on the second line.
Yeah, and I just think that,
what did they say about the Craig Smith injury? I haven't seen anything on it.
I haven't seen anything either. I don't know. For me, it's just you have this talent, and I feel like there's guys who aren't as good offensively that will be better there, right? So if you get a guy that doesn't lose puck battles and doesn't turn it over and can feed the puck to Krejci or Hall, 10 times of a better fit than DeBrusque. I mean, all you're getting out there right now is a negative.
Right.
Make that into a positive. Put somebody out there that can play the puck. And that third line is horrendous. I mean, every time in that game,
Charlie Coyle has disappeared too. That's another thing. Like Coyle, I talked so highly of Coyle, especially last year, and especially when we traded for him.
Almost same
I was
scenario
super
as
high
DeBrusque.
on him, and I thought he could have meshed well with Krejci and not playing center. But I mean, he's been brought down to the third and fourth lines, and either he's not playing with guys that can match his style, or they're not gelling, or he's become a shell of himself.
Yeah,
Coyle's been non-existent as well.
And I think the problem is that line has no leader aside from Coyle, and I don't think Coyle's a great representation of a leader. But I think the problem is if you can't even take Coyle off that line and put him and try him with Krejci and Taylor Hall, and maybe the three of them jive really well.
Yeah, you're right.
It's kind of hard because then you take Coyle out of that line, and it's even worse. There's nobody down there, and I mean their line got annihilated. Every time they were on the ice, it was like they were on a power play. I mean, the Islanders just dominated the entire shift. They were in our zone. And we could not get the puck out. We couldn't dump. We couldn't kill. We couldn't do anything.
If the Bruins D can't beat the Isles, they won't stand a chance versus the Lightning. That's my friend Alex, who's a Lightning fan. But yeah, he's right. Totally right. You know what? I don't even trust the Bruins D to play the Lightning.
No.
Right now. Not even close. I don't even trust our forwards to play the Lightning. No. The Lightning have arguably the best goalie in the league with Vasilevsky. Arguably. That perfection line with Bergeron, Marchand, and Pasternak is the best line in hockey. Let's be real. But that Kucherov line, that top line for Tampa Bay is no joke either.
Yeah.
They're right there neck and neck, too.
Second and third best line.
Kucherov is one of the best all-around players in hockey. All-around best playmakers in hockey right now. He's playing out of his mind. Stamkos is healthy. All of Tampa is healthy right now. Scared. I am scared.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you get by Tampa, I don't see how they would beat a team like, the Avalanche.
See, now that would be, I don't know if Alex is still watching, but that would be a good match. Tampa and Colorado?
That's my prediction for the finals.
That would be a hell of a series.
I think it's Tampa, Colorado is my projection. Colorado looks really good. Is everything I've always wanted the Bruins to be. Very well balanced.
McKinnon is fantastic.
You got good goaltending.
Mikko Rantanen is fantastic.
You got sizable, aggressive defense.
Physical defense.
And they shut it down.
Physical.
And you make forwards like Coyle, like DeBrusque, maybe even Hall. Guys like that are way too scared to get by those defenders. Now, a guy like Bergie and Marshy, they don't care. They'll cut those defenders down and get in there. But, some of the lesser forwards in the league are just petrified of defenders like that. And that's everything I've always wanted the Bruins to be. And they've never gone that way. And it infuriates me every single time.
I'm with you.
But with that, top of the hour, we're going to get this break out of the way. We'll come back. Feel free to call in, talk Bruins, 508-222-1320. Welcome back. Keep in mind, again, no music getting us back in there. It's so
I keep forgetting there's no music.
It's an awkward feel. Again, I tried diagnosing title here, but it's not going, and I definitely don't want to reboot this computer because I have no idea how to set up all the main programming here. When I come in, the programs are there, and I just navigate them and tell them what to do. I don't know how to launch any of it or log in, so
Gotcha.
I'm not going to be the guy to do it. So keep it with hockey. Actually, you know what, too? Since you mentioned Tampa Bay, and maybe your buddy's still listening, I wanted to get your opinion, and I know it's been changed since, so people don't complain. It changed it now.
Bruins and the Lightning played in the two hardest divisions this year. Yeah. Which division was lighter, though? That's the question. Ooh. Well, we had the top. Our top four was Pittsburgh, Washington, us, and
I would say the Lightning had
Washington, and the Islanders.
The Islanders, yeah.
So I mean that's kind of cupcake, but I mean Tampa kind of has.
I don't know if that's cupcake though. You're talking
Carolina's decent. Florida and who else?
You're talking full on round.
Like top to bottom.
One. Yeah, you're talking all playoff contended teams.
Yeah,
and
it's close. It was neck and
Tampa
neck.
played what? Two of the teams didn't make it, or did only one not make it? I mean, honestly, it's really close. I think I would say
it's close.
Tampa had a little bit of the easier division, a little less challenging goaltenders. I would say would be like the difference maker.
So I'm trying
I think Bruins face a bit harder goaltenders all around.
Yeah, Tampa and Boston both finished third in the division. Whatever. It's a COVID season still, technically.
With talking Tampa, did you see the video of the kid getting? Well, I don't think he got kicked out. I believe they just forced him to take off his jersey. He's wearing Carolina jersey, or was it who did they just play in the series? Was it Carolina? No.
Who, Tampa?
Yeah,
Tampa just played Florida.
The Florida Panthers. Okay, Panthers jersey. They forced him to take it off.
In Tampa?
Yeah, I guess they had a policy on their tickets. No away jerseys were allowed in the stadium.
What?
What a stupid rule. And they since changed it because the father recorded the interaction.
It was a Panthers jersey, yeah.
Yeah, and the father recorded the interaction and told them. So one of the guys that worked in the stadium was really cool. The chick that showed up was like ignorant and like condescending. And they were just like, oh, if you can't abide by it, you got to leave or we're going to call the cops.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, oh, I spoke. And so he had said, like, oh, I spoke to somebody and they told me it was okay. They go and fire the chick that worked there that's told him it was okay. She since got fired over it because she told this guy it was okay. And then now I read today that they changed the rule and now they're going to allow away jerseys in the stands after, like, social media blew up on them.
Jesus.
But, like, I'm sorry, is this not competitive? Is it not competitive sports?
Mm-hmm.
Like, excuse me? You go to the UFC fights, and you have, like, two different nations behind fighters with, like, different countries' flags ready to brawl out in the stands for their fighter.
Yep.
Like, you have basically a world war in the arena.
Right.
And, like, here in playoff hockey, of all things, we don't want away jerseys. Give me a break. And it's not like, I could see if it was like 25% capacity and, they didn't want a bunch of Carolina jerseys, so they just said no. You're at full capacity. Florida's wide open. There's no excuse for that. That's just pathetic. Mm-hmm. Clearly they don't have trust in their own fan base to show up and come out. And, like, I get it with it being like two Florida teams, but that's hockey, and that's sports. The Super Bowl, they sell 50-50 tickets for a reason. When the Super Bowl comes into town, each fan base gets 50% of the ticket sales. Now, whether that's a true 50-50 split, that's to be argued all over the place because of scalpers, people selling their tickets. But each market gets half of the sales, and that's how that works. What?
Half the sales?
Yeah, so if you're playing the Super Bowl, say it's New England versus Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
New England market gets 50% of the tickets.
No away jersey is allowed in club seating. That's where it was. That's why they didn't allow it.
and club seating. See, because I read something on. Yes, so that was a difference because
the interesting thing is Florida Arena doesn't allow more than 13,000 fans, but yet Boston allows max, which I find weird. Is that still the case though? Even today?
Now, is that a Tampa? Is that a town rule?
Well, no, because in
That's
Florida
not
they did the UFC fight in Jacksonville was 15,000. So that can't be true.
Well, unless it's a town rule.
And that
there.
UFC, the town.
It could be a town rule.
In Tampa?
City rule.
Yeah, because the UFC fight was in Jacksonville.
Yeah, it could be a city rule. And because in Jacksonville, they went over full capacity because the arena was scheduled for 15,000 capacity or 14 something. And then they added the floor seating.
Right.
And Jacksonville told them, like, the more the merrier. Do it.
Yeah.
We need the money.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
It depends on the city. But so I read, or the video I watched, because, again, I believe it is the entire arena. Because the guy said on video, so-and-so told me if I don't go to, like, the club pavilion or something, if I don't go somewhere, I can wear it. And they said, that's not true.
Wow.
So I'll have to watch the video again. And like I said, I believe it was anywhere in the arena. I know he said that it was club seating. And I believe in the video, the guy said...
It's not a town rule. I was seeing people complain because they want to buy tickets. Aha.
Interesting. That's really weird.
That is weird.
Unless it's like the arena just is...
Anyway, Alex, if it just so happens that we both move on to the East Final and it's Tampa and Boston, we need to look at TD Garden tickets and see how much they are.
Yeah. I was so mad the other. I'm in like a sports Raz. You know what a Raz is, right?
Yeah.
So I was in a Raz and I was gonna pick a number and it filled like a second before. So I just bought another number. That number hit. It was 2 Loge row 4. It was Loge like 17 row 4. So 4th row up.
Oh wow.
For game 5 on Monday. Now it's one number away. I was pissed.
Wow.
Pissed. And it was like my number I always go with. I was pissed. I was like, ugh. And I was like, I knew it. I knew it was going to happen.
Oh.
And like, it's just like depleted my night. There was a couple.
Already checked, bro. Cheapest is like 300. 300 for like game 1?
Well, so there was tickets for the Garden. It was $237 a piece, but it was like balcony, like up high. But honestly, the balcony aren't that bad at the Garden.
You see everything. It's
a good design.
At a Celtics game, different story.
Yeah.
But in a hockey, I don't mind sitting.
Yeah, and playoffs, it's the environment too.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was $237. I want to say, and then the fees.
300. I'd rather wait until the Cup final if we make it.
Here's a quick little rant. I hate how you can't go to the stadium like the old days and just buy a ticket.
Right at the ticket booth.
You walk up to the ticket booth and buy a ticket. Why is that not a thing anymore?
Well, now they're probably like sold out of the regular tickets. That's probably why.
Even when you still go though, I think it's through Ticketmaster now, and Ticketmaster just pays to have they hire people to be there.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure because it's still all the same fees. Before you just pay face value, or like you pay the ticket price.
Yeah.
Now like I'll see tickets. Like, I look at the Red Sox games.
Oh, yeah, the fees, yeah.
Yeah, I look at the Red Sox game. It's like, $58 a ticket. I'm like, that's not bad at all. I put 2 in the cart, $300 and something. I'm like, what? It was like $180 in fees, more than the tickets. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's...
Because it was like $57 fee per ticket, which is about identical to the tickets. And then there was like a convenience fee and taxes. So it was more than both tickets in the fees. I'm like, it's so stupid.
That is dumb.
Imagine if you had like a family of 5 or 6, which again, that's what the ballpark was designed for. It was
Dude, you're better off just freaking scalping it.
Yeah, and
that point,
back in the day, it was designed for mom or dad to bring all 4 kids out to the ballpark for a day or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like a family oriented thing was the design. Imagine now the fees for a family of 6. It's like it's gonna be $1,000, $2,000 a day. I'd rather go to Disneyland.
No thanks.
I'd rather go to Disney. Crazy, unreal,
ridiculous.
With that, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back. 508-222-1320.
Yep.
Welcome back. It's MVP Sports Talk Radio. It is about 8:16.
Yerp.
8:16.
We back, baby. We back.
Yeah, we're back. So we were just talking a little, mentioned it off air, so we'll kind of dive into it on air for sake of some topic to talk about. But if you didn't know, Ultimate Fighter started last night.
Return of the Ultimate Fighter.
Plays every Tuesday. Is that only on ESPN Plus?
Yep.
Okay.
Because ESPN Plus, is it on ESPN or ESPN2? I think it's just ESPN Plus.
Okay.
Pretty sure. Yep.
Which is a weird take. It's bold. Kind of a bold take. But again, I mean, ESPN Plus kind of...
Well, I mean, how many subscribers do you have on ESPN Plus? You got millions of people that subscribe to it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you buy one pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You're a subscriber for the year, right? Pretty much. Unless you just... So, the pay-per-view by itself is like $73 after tax, right? You could get ESPN Plus a year membership for like $85 with the pay-per-view. So, like, why not pay an extra?
That's what I do.
You're already spending $75 on the pay-per-view. Why not spend another $10 and get access to, like, a crap ton of sports on top of every UFC pay-per-view? So I was finally able to, because the Chandler Oliveira fight, I was in Virginia for my sister's wedding, so I wasn't able to. I was able to watch it at a club that I went to. Story time later on.
Yeah, that's
off the air.
A boys talk story.
Yeah, but I wasn't able to really catch much, so I was finally able to go back and watch the Oliveira and Chandler fight.
Yeah.
God, Chandler got cocky. Mm-hmm. Chandler just got too. He was riding the wave after that first round, and. He got carried away.
I think, yeah.
And
I mean, he definitely...
Oliveira's too technical for you to do that.
Yeah, and he had a big UFC wave, too. Like, come in, dominate, get put right to a title fight. Like, it was almost like too easy type of mentality. You know what I mean?
Gaethje's his ideal matchup next. I think
that's
him and Gaethje's next.
Everyone's saying...
I don't like him against Gaethje, though. I don't like his chances at all.
I want to see Gaethje and Oliveira again.
They fought before? I don't think they've ever fought before. Gaethje Oliveira? I don't think they've ever fought before.
Pretty
sure?
I think, yeah.
I don't think they have.
Let me look.
If they did, it had to be years
ago. It was early on, I believe. But yeah, so, again, kind of I always thought that they would run.
Next for Oliveira is either Poirier or McGregor. The winner of that gets it.
Either of them.
Especially if Poirier wins, it's automatic. If Poirier wins, it's automatic. But I see Gaethje fighting Chandler next. I see that happening, for sure. Gaethje's last fight was Khabib, and he lost. So, I mean,
Gaethje keeps complaining about not getting that fight.
The title fight?
He was mad that Chandler got it because he felt like he got skipped. Which, I mean...
Well, he didn't get skipped. He had a shot against Khabib, and he lost.
Yeah.
That was his shot. That's
shot. He feels like, I lost for that title. It was vacated. I should be able to fight to get back the title I lost fighting for. I don't know.
Well, I mean, so if you look back, so before he beat Ferguson, he lost to Poirier. He got knocked out by Poirier. Was that it? I'm about to look this up. I'm about to look up Gaethje's stats right now. UFC. Anyway, my point is, his last significant win in a fight was Ferguson, right? Went 5 rounds, and I think they stopped it. So TKO, right?
With who?
With Gaethje and Ferguson.
Yeah.
So hang on, I pulled up Gaethje right now. So his past fights. So he lost to Khabib. He beat Ferguson. He beat Cowboy. He beat Barbosa. Beat Vic. Okay, so he lost to Poirier back in 2018. Okay, so my timing's off a little bit. Lost to Poirier. Beat Vic on fight night. Okay, that's the Edson Barbosa. Decent win. He beat Cowboy. He beat Tony. And then he lost to Khabib.
Wow.
So his last signature win.
Oliveira lost to Cerrone? Sheesh.
So he lost back. So his last win, Gaethje's last win, was against Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, I think I was wrong, by the way. I don't believe they fought before. I thought they did.
Ever since that, Ferguson has been on an epic decline since that loss to Gaethje.
Terrible
decline. Epic decline.
Embarrassing decline.
It sucks.
As someone who hates him, I almost
feel bad for him.
I still feel bad.
Because he's a warrior, but I think a lot of the Khabib drama and like because Khabib or Ferguson and Gaethje fought on 2 weeks' notice. I think I'm pretty sure it was 2 weeks' notice when Gaethje stepped in. So Ferguson had been in training camp preparing for Khabib the entire time, and not Gaethje. Khabib and Gaethje are two entirely different fighters.
Yeah.
Right? So Justin's last signature win, really, I mean, Cowboy, maybe back in 2019. But, I mean, what, he beat Edson Barbosa, Cowboy, and then Tony Ferguson, and then lost to Khabib. He doesn't deserve an immediate title shot again. He just had a shot at the title, right?
Yeah, hard to argue, though, because then you argue that.
I think he needs a win over Chandler to solidify his title position again. That's how you work yourself back. Yeah. Just because someone vacated the lightweight title and you were the last person to fight him doesn't mean you get the right to fight for the vacant title again.
But you
already had your shot.
Someone like McGregor has a right over it.
If he beats Poirier, maybe.
But what has he done? He's lost what, 3 in a row now,
right?
Or 3 of 4, and his only win was Cowboy, who has been struggling to get a win the last 6 fights. Who Dana White's going to hand him a win to retire on. Mm-hmm. Dana White said, I want him to go out with a win, so he's going to hand him a win to retire on.
Right.
So, I mean, arguably, that's not. I mean, it's a win, but do you really count it as a win? That was like a gimme win for him to get back into the groove, and then he comes out and loses 2 more. So it's just.
He beat Alvarez. He beat Alvarez. He lost to Khabib. Beat Cowboy. Lost. So he's lost 2 of 3.
Yeah, and then
he's lost 2 of 3.
And the Poirier fight is getting on a handout. It's because of the history. If there was no history there, he doesn't get that fight. He's getting that fight on a handout.
Yeah, it's 1-1. So
I mean,
at lightweight.
Now, if Poirier wins that fight, he deserves a shot.
Absolutely.
But if McGregor wins, I still don't think he has a shot. I think it would need to be Gaethje McGregor, win or take.
Well, Oliveira knocked him out in round 2, right? Knocked out Chandler in round 2.
Yeah, beginning of round 2.
You could hypothetically do a quick turnaround
on him. Yeah.
On Oliveira.
Yeah.
You could do a quick turnaround if you want Gaethje to throw Gaethje in with Oliveira. Yeah. Real quick and
October. I believe Dana said he thought he thought that Gaethje was entitled to it.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, you figure
it makes sense.
And you figure Gaethje, Poirier and McGregor are going to fight next month, July.
Yep, July.
So, turn around from there. You're talking end of the year anyway.
Yeah.
So realistically, you could have a Gaethje Oliveira come up pretty soon. Probably September.
Oh God, Gaethje doesn't care about how long the training camp is.
Well, I'm saying for Oliveira, you give him an 8-week course, 8-week training or so. So you're talking 2 months. So you're talking,
September.
August, September, probably.
If you're gonna be vigilant about it. September, October.
And September's a good time because you're going to already have a pretty stacked card. You're talking Ngannou, Lewis, possibly September-ish era. So I mean,
Jesus.
you got a lot. You could have a really stacked card if you're Dana White in September.
I can't wait for this next one on June 12th. Though. Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Yep. There's a lot. There's a lot of potential fights, and I think you need to have Gaethje Oliveira. You do McGregor, Poirier, winner of each fight. So the new champ or Oliveira, remaining champ,
put him on.
Fight the winner of those.
If only you could put him on the same card, right?
Yeah, and then Chandler. If Gaethje loses, then you get the Gaethje Chandler fight. Chandler wants a little time off anyway. He's not going to be gunning for anything anytime soon. He said I'm always training, but I want a little bit of time with my kid. That's fine. He gets a few months to chill with his kid. He fights, one of the losers of the fights, whether it's McGregor or Gaethje or maybe an Oliveira too, but that's kind of early on. Whoever loses one of those 2 fights of the 4 guys, that's a good opponent for Chandler.
Right.
Because he needs to earn himself back up the racks.
Chandler definitely. Chandler needs.
And if McGregor,
he just had a title shot. Chandler needs one statement win to get back in there.
If McGregor loses, is he even top 5? Do you keep him top 5?
No, absolutely not.
You're talking. He might drop down to 8 or 10.
McGregor can't afford to lose this fight.
He's ranked so graciously now.
He was on one of the most epic runs in UFC history.
Yeah.
when he ran through the featherweight division, destroyed Jose, and then fought Nate, lost to Nate, fought him again, beat him, then went up to lightweight.
Well, no, he beat him, beat him, right? 2-1. He won the first Diaz fight, lost the second.
Right. No, he lost the first one, won the second one.
Are you sure?
Yes. He got submitted in the first one and won by a split decision in the second one.
I thought it was the other way around.
It was close. So this run he went on. So he became featherweight champion against Jose. Then he lost to Nate. December, January, February, March. 3 months later, he lost to Nate.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And then he fought Nate again in August and won by decision. Then he beat Eddie Alvarez to be the 2-division champ. And then he vacated it and didn't fight again for 2 years when he lost to Khabib. And then beat Cowboy and then lost to Dustin. I mean, but he went on an epic run. He faced adversity with that loss to Nate Diaz. Turns back around 2 months later, fights him again, wins by decision in an absolute slobber knocker. Right? That was a war. That second fight with Nate was a war. Turns around, comes back, beats Eddie Alvarez, becomes the 2-division champ, like one of the best runs in UFC history. But right now, on the road that he's on, after the whole situation with Khabib and what went down and the animosity between the two of them and their camps, for him to lose that, turn around and fight Cowboy, how much longer? He almost took 2 years off.
Yeah.
Like, it was a year and a half until he fought Cowboy.
He did the boxing. He did the Mayweather fight.
Mm-hmm. He did the Mayweather fight.
His whiskey brand launched. He had a lot of side stuff.
So, I mean, like, when you're talking about, like, greatest UFC fighters of all time, he's starting to fall down the list quite a bit now.
Yes.
Well outside the top 10, in my opinion, now.
Yeah, I mean, him and Ferguson are relatively, like, they're ranked very high. They're both going to fall. Ferguson's probably going to fall out of top 10. Or maybe he gets, like, 10 or 9. Then...
Ferg is at 6 now.
Which is gracious.
Ahead of our Dos Anjos. Dan Hooker just got lost pretty big, too. Yeah, there are these guys moving up the ranks, though. Thiago Moises is... Oh, Drew Dober and Thiago Moises are now ranked. Kevin Lee's moving up. Yep.
And, I mean, like I said, all it takes is McGregor to lose this fight, and then he's probably at, 6. He might take 6 and bump Ferg down to 7, or he goes under Ferg at 7. But there's going to be a lot of moves in the division if they can't
Conor
get it right.
loses to Poirier, I think he hangs it up. I don't think you see him fight in the UFC.
Yeah, it'd be hard for him to get the momentum.
Especially after Usman beat Masvidal too. You hear him like tweeting about moving up to welterweight and seeing those guys like, shut up, dude.
Yeah, worry about
you would get demolished at welterweight.
Yeah, worry about getting a win for starters.
Yeah, I mean Nate Diaz destroyed you at welterweight. And that was the only fight at 170 you saw, and then you went into You've had 2 fights at 170. Stop talking about moving up.
Yeah.
Take care of your business at lightweight at 155 first. Yep. But back to the Ultimate Fighter, though. What you think about the episode? Episode 1?
I thought it was good.
If anyone's trying to get into the UFC, you need to do it now because it's the best sport in America right now. By far. Most interesting. Funnest to watch.
And it's the best time. This is the best year to be involved with the UFC.
What about like Volkanovski and Ortega as the coaches? Yep. How about 2 completely different night and day coaching styles, fighting styles? Yeah. Like you saw Volkanovski training his guy, right? For the first fight, right? Mm-hmm. Training his guy, and it's just like, balls to the wall, like cardio, like hard sparring, all that. Mm-hmm. And then you go to Ortega, and it's all technical stuff.
Yep.
Takedowns, how to transition on the ground, how to move from full guard to side to control, how to incorporate your transmissions and move from each step to the next.
And it worked flawlessly.
It did. So I'm just curious as to because each fighter is different.
Yeah.
So how are they gonna coach each guy and prepare them for each fight? I'm curious. It'll be interesting. And I feel like Ortega's just such a he's like a mellow vibe.
I mean, even when he's coaching on ringside, he's like oh, do this, and then he's telling the other coach, hey, tell him to do this. Like he's not yelling, he's not freaking out.
He's not that
very
type of
calm,
guy. He's just not that
relaxed,
type of guy.
Which helps, man. It helps when your coach is very calm. If your coach is screaming and panicking, you're gonna panic, right?
Right.
So, and it worked beautifully. I mean, everything they taught, it worked. They came out, executed in that fight perfectly. We'll see if Volkanovski switches gears and kind of changes momentum a bit. And, the previews for further on this season look great. It looks like there's going to be some fights. There always is some controversy, some jiving.
That next bantamweight fight with that dude from Volkanovski's team that got picked first, right? Mm-hmm. He was the first bantamweight taken.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think he might be the best in the camp.
Yep.
That'll be interesting to watch, too. Yeah, that'll be cool to see him.
Good to see. I'm excited. It looks like a great season. And like I said, no better time to be involved with the UFC than right now. They're just getting into sports cards again. So if you collect sports cards, they are now in it. They partner with Panini to get in on them. Running fight night every Saturday night. So if you have, most of them are streaming on ESPN for free, correct? The fight nights.
A lot of them are on ESPN, ESPN2, depending on the fight night.
Yeah. So you get those for free. That's your dib in, and then you decide if you want to get ESPN Plus to watch The Ultimate Fighter, and then if you want to watch.
But some of these cards are on this upcoming Saturday night is ESPN Plus.
ESPN Plus is the way to go. You can.
It's cheap too. You can pay by the month. You can pay by the year.
Yeah, and every fight is broken down singularly, so you can.
And it's not just UFC. You get access to on-demand baseball.
Yeah, I watch Super Bowl
hockey
reruns.
Games. You can replay hockey games, Super Bowl reruns. There's a ton of stuff.
Everything. It is.
The detail show is phenomenal. If you watch that with Daniel Cormier, that's phenomenal
extra
stuff.
Add-ons there. It's a great program to have. I could spend all day just browsing on there and watching stuff. Any true sports fan should have ESPN Plus. It's pretty good, next level. Like I said, and then you get. Access to the UFC stuff. Fights every Saturday right now. And I believe they're going to continue doing that for as long as they can do it because it's been great and it's helped the sport. And then you get the pay-per-view events and there's just tons of good ones. Every time it's a fantastic card. And I feel like every time I'm saying it's one of my favorite cards and it just keeps happening.
Yep.
So, great time to be involved. We're going to take this break. Keep in touch, or I don't know why I said that. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
508-222-1320.
Yeah.
Call us, yo.
We're back. It is hard to keep up with this. I'm not used to being
no music,
without a
right?
music thing.
Yeah,
it's
it is weird. Super
different.
strange.
So, quick score update. End of 1. Montreal Canadiens are up 3-1 in Game 1 of that series.
Wow. How about that? Maple Leafs going down again.
Yep. and it's like the
most overrated team.
Yeah, the Maple Leafs are so
God.
cocky. So cocky.
They have all the talent in the world, too.
Who was it? Oh, God. Is it the center? The center there?
Tavares?
No, it wasn't
That got
Tavares.
hurt?
No, it wasn't Tavares. Who was it? Somebody tweeted like, "Oh, it's such an easy division. I wish we had some challenge. I'm looking forward to playoffs where we have actual competition."
And then they lose.
And then you go out and lose to Montreal.
Yeah,
you're up 3-1.
You blow a 3-1 lead.
You're up 3-1. You're up 3-1, and you blow the lead.
What a
blow
joke!
The lead.
Absolute joke.
Embarrassing. Couldn't pick a more funnier club
And
for that.
I hate the Habs. I hate the Habs as much as anybody.
Yeah, I love to see it though.
Seeing that happen,
the Habs.
That was funny.
I hate the Habs, but it's like laughable, man. Like the Maple Leafs came from that terrible team that Boston
kidding.
would enjoy playing to just a top team, but they can never do nothing with it. Like, and then you talk all this crap and you blow a 3-1 lead. It's embarrassing. It's truly embarrassing. But that's
Something's
hockey.
got to happen.
That's hockey, man.
They got all the talent in the world on that team too, man.
Give me that team in
man.
Boston.
Matthews and Tavares.
Give me that team in Boston.
Marner and oh man, that team is loaded.
Yep. Give me that team in Boston.
Shame on them, man.
And it's like, I don't know. I feel like that's just like the way it goes. And it's always like these stacked teams that just can't get it done.
It's unreal.
You love to see it.
You love
hate
to see
it, but you love to see it.
Hate to see it, but you love to see
Yep.
it.
I don't know. Something's got to give there. Speaking of something got to give, Celtics eliminated. We knew that was happening. I said when they won the play-in game that they wasted their time.
Danny
because
Ainge
they're just extending
stepping
the
down.
inevitable.
Brad Stevens going to his spot, which means there's a.
You think it's a better fit?
I was shocked that number one, that they had to do something.
Yeah.
You had to do something, right? Something had to happen after what just happened, right? You had to shake things up. You had to. It's just this. Some people in this fan base, man, are just, and Coach Steve's just A for effort, guys. But you're so much fun to watch on TV. But we're okay with you getting your butts kicked by Brooklyn. Come on. How satisfied are you with mediocrity? This is Boston, right? Title town.
Yep.
Right? The most championships in our lifetime across every sport, right? We are title town. It's championship or bust in this city, right? Right?
Yeah.
And you got 17, you've got the most banners in NBA history with the Lakers. What's going on?
Yep.
The Lakers are another thing. They got their butts handed to them last night. Love seeing it.
You love to see that.
You love to see it.
You don't hate to see that. You only love to see that.
You love to see it. Wouldn't that be something?
Loved it.
A first-round exit for LeBum. Wouldn't that be something? Anthony Davis is hurt, too.
Yep.
So,
I mean, that's what happens. You put all your money into three guys, and you expect them to do everything.
Yep.
And when one goes down, they all fall.
And
you know what, though?
That's why he should not be...
LeBron walking off the court 5 minutes left with his shirt on. That's why I hate him.
Did he really do that?
Yeah.
I don't watch the basketball.
I don't watch. I just saw that. I just see what I
He
need
walked
to
off
see.
the court?
Yep.
With 5 minutes left.
They put on a black T-shirt, was walking into the tunnel. It was like 5 minutes, 40 seconds left.
Really?
Yep. And I mean, granted, they were getting blown out, but still. If you or I did that, imagine walking out of your job early because it's a S show, crap show.
Yep.
Imagine walking out, you'd be fired. It's ridiculous. And no better player to see go through that than LeBron. I can't stand him. I can't stand anything about him. Look, he does some great stuff with. He does some great stuff
off
with
the court.
School and some charity work.
He does phenomenal stuff in his community.
But it's overshadowed with.
He's an advocate.
Yeah, it's overshadowed with terrible.
He's vocal. He uses his platform well.
Not to threaten murdering a cop.
Right. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
I mean, that's
yeah.
I'm
talking about the good stuff he does.
Yeah. No. I mean, he does a lot of good stuff, and I can't knock that. I always respect good charity work, and you know what? Every athlete should be doing that. Why? Because you're.
Especially
on a platform
of
you're
his.
making millions of dollars. There's no reason why you shouldn't be.
Especially on his platform.
Because I volunteer plenty of time every week, every year to 2 different youth sports. And I'm not rich. So, and I know
Neither am I.
not everyone else in the organization with me that volunteers is not rich, and we love to do it. And I think, everyone should volunteer at some point, but pro athletes especially should be volunteering. One, millions of dollars, and two, you got the platform for it. All these people, all these athletes want to talk about change and how, they need to fix racism in the leagues and all this stuff, but they don't have any problem cashing $1 million checks from this supposed racist league and racist fan base. They don't mind the stadium getting filled with all this racist money. So, I just think that certain sports organizations need to change. The NHL is on the fine line of battling that now, where they dip their toes into being correct and stuff, and that's really why I vibe with the UFC. Let the fighters go out and fight. Fighters say what they want to say. There's no right or wrong. You got Colby Covington, the most Trump guy ever, and you got anti-Trump fighters posting their stuff too, and nobody cares because the UFC, you just do what you want to do.
Yep.
And the UFC does a lot of charitable work
to an extent.
Yeah, I mean you can't go off the rails.
Kind of like what McGregor did, throwing the dolly at the bus, and
yeah, so that's different. I'm talking more just
that's
speaking.
Right.
Dana White is a firm believer of let the people do what they want to do.
Free speech.
Like what he said, if people want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If they don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask. But don't talk crap to each other for people making their own decisions, because that's America. Make your own decisions. And I believe that with athletes. I think if you have a platform, use it, but don't overuse it and don't do it incorrectly. And then don't use your platform to be this big preacher, but then never do anything. Actions do speak louder than words. And when you're out here preaching, but you don't do anything, then I don't want to hear you. So, I do understand. Hey, LeBron, I'll hear some of your crap. I get it because you do a lot for the community. So you do have a right to talk. You do a lot. You put your money where your mouth is. But 99% of these young bucks that have all these opinions don't do jack for the world. And it's just about cash and checks and being relevant.
Yep.
So, not to get off on a rant like that, but it's I just think that, we got to tune some of these leagues, change some things up, shake them up a bit. It's just a weird phase. The world's in a weird phase.
We're in a really weird spot. We're slowly starting to kind of come back into normalcy, right?
Yeah.
I went to Harry's Burger Bar the other day in Providence, in Rhode Island, and just walked in. Didn't have to wear a mask. There wasn't the plexiglass. The bar was fully open. The waitresses and servers were still wearing masks, but we could walk in. I sat down. I literally had to sit down at the bar and kind of take it in for a minute and be like, wow, we're actually coming back to normal now. Because I felt weird not wearing a mask. It felt weird.
You know what it is, too? And now it's a really weird phase because some places you have to wear a mask. So, I didn't wear a mask since obviously the thing ended. Or you're allowed to not wear one or whatever. So I got into that routine. And then the other day I walk into the dentist and the lady in the lobby's yelling at me because it's a bigger building. So the dentist is downstairs, take the elevator down.
Yeah.
And she's yelling at me. And I'm like, what'd she say? I turn around, I'm like, huh? And she was like, mask. And I'm like, oh. And she's like, it's a medical building. I'm like, gotcha.
Yeah.
Out to the car to get my mask. I'm like, thankfully I left one in the car. But it's so hard to remember where you can and where you can't.
I went to Stop and Shop the other day and didn't wear one. And I only saw a couple other people that weren't wearing one.
Yeah, no.
A majority of people I see at Stop and Shop, Walmart are still wearing one.
Yeah. Really? At Stop and Shop?
Yeah.
Most places I bet nobody's been wearing them. And
one on Branch Ave,
I won't say their name on the air because I have no idea if they're even allowed to be doing what. But I went to a store today. None of the employees were wearing masks, and I thought that the employees still had to, but maybe they don't.
I went to a place yesterday as well, a local place that we do love, and they were not wearing masks either.
Yeah, so maybe it's up to the employer, I guess. Which is good.
Which is how it should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how it should be.
Look,
if I go into a business and you got a sign at the front that says this business requires people to wear masks, I'll wear a mask. I'll respect that.
Or I'll make the decision to go somewhere else. Whatever I decide.
Exactly.
I decide. I don't really understand the whole medical airplanes and just certain places you do have to have a mask. But I can go to the TD Garden, which just removed their mandate today, because no one was following it. So why have a mandate when nobody follows it?
Right.
So it's today it said no one has to wear a mask. So why can I go into an arena filled with 20,000 people? with
But
no
I can't go
mask.
onto a plane
But I
full
can't
of
walk
like
in to
a
get
couple hundred,
Yeah.
like maybe 100 people,
Yeah, at best. Yeah, 100 at best. I don't understand that.
or into a
Or I can't go to the dentist.
wide open airport lobby.
Yeah.
Wear one?
Or the dentist. I walk into the building and I wasn't near anybody at any
Well,
point.
because
The only time,
airports are federal, right?
yeah.
Most of them, especially
Well, yeah,
the
they're like
international
under
airport.
federal guidelines. They
Right.
are private. Some of them are privately owned, but they're federal guidelines.
Right.
Like TF Green in Providence is like state or like locally owned,
Right.
but it's federal guidelines.
Right. And that's probably why.
Yeah, but like doctors' offices and stuff, and there's a few other things on the list that you have to have a mask. It's just weird to me. Like I don't understand that. Especially
I think it'll
the
come.
TD Garden like really
It'll come
opened
at
it
some
because
point.
like I was having this talk with Tim.
Like now, especially for my work, I don't have to wear a mask inside the store anymore.
Yep.
If we're vaccinated,
Yeah.
right? So, and actually, it's free reign. It's like honor system, and it's choose what you want. But when I go into clients' homes, I have to wear one, which is, I mean, it's kind of.
I guess it makes
And
sense.
now the
I feel
clients
like
don't have to wear one in the home anymore. Thankfully,
Yeah.
I hate asking clients to wear masks in their own homes. Like I hated asking that.
Yeah, I don't like that. I'd be pretty pissed.
That's how it was before
Yeah,
the
I would
mandate
be
got
ticked.
lifted. So like,
I'd be like, you can just leave.
yeah.
I feel like that's how I'd be. And I'm not like
I mean,
arrogant
only
like
3
that.
people are watching. Full disclosure, I would, at my discretion, I'd tell clients, look, I hate asking you to wear a mask inside your home, so I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I'm wearing one. I am fully vaccinated, just so you know. Yeah. Feel free to do whatever you want. But this is your own home. Do as you please.
Yeah.
That's how I treated it, essentially.
Yeah.
Now, when the pandemic first happened, back in March of 2020, different story.
Yeah.
Much different story.
I feel like back then everyone was on edge about having anybody in their
Right.
home anyway.
Right, exactly. But like now, definitely we're in a much different situation now.
Yeah.
So,
Well, with that, we're going to take a break. It's a final break. We'll come back in for our last hurrah.
final thoughts.
508-222-1320. Don't go anywhere. It's MVP Sports Talk Radio coming live for the last about 8 minutes here. So yeah, we'll kind of just wrap it up, and I'm not gonna get to play closing time today because our music's not working today.
I know, right? Title's still down. Shame, shame, shame.
Yeah, it's not working. At least we won't get a copyright flag on this by Facebook again.
Yep.
The amount of times that happens is ridiculous. And all it is like, I appeal it. I tell them we have licensing for the music, and then they just say, okay.
There you go.
But then they keep doing it.
Facebook?
It's like, well, so no, it's like a certain, I won't say the name because I ain't going to deal with copywriting and stuff. So it's a certain, like, company that owns rights to music. They flag it for copyright, like an infringement or something. And then Facebook mutes the video. They, like, take it down.
From ours? Well, the music doesn't play through the live stream on Facebook, though, right?
It doesn't, but somehow it still gets flagged. I don't know how.
It's interesting.
So it still gets flagged.
Okay.
And then I have to appeal it, and then it gets put back up. Like, the video gets taken down temporarily until the appeal's done.
Right.
And it takes, like, a few days for it to get reviewed.
Jesus.
But it's, like, the same outcome every time. But it happens, like, randomly. Every couple months, it'll just randomly get, boom, hey, so-and-so reported your video copyright. It's now flagged and muted.
Fantastic.
Want to appeal it, and then I do, and we win every time. And it's just like, why do they keep doing this when they lose
never-ending
every
process.
time? I don't know why it keeps happening. It's weird.
Oh, well.
And I think James said it happened to him at one point, too. I don't know. It's weird. Very weird.
Very strange.
But, what do we got here? I think the Sox are on. Let me see if I get a quick score update.
How much hype do you believe in this Julio Jones thing? Because it's kind of tempered down a little bit. But, I mean, the Patriots and the Titans were like the top two teams, fully vested. And then Seattle came in.
Yeah, Seattle's in.
Oh, God.
Would be scary.
That'd be real. Oh, God. They don't need a defense if they got Julio, DK, and Baldwin.
Yep.
Yikes.
Yep.
Big yikes. Whew.
Yeah. No, when I seen Seattle get them,
well, they still don't have an offensive line, but
yeah, no offensive line. They'd be in the same boat as Cincy or something similar. KC would be a good comparison, I think. So yeah, they need an offensive line bad. But I saw Atlanta saying they only wanted a second-round pick. That's a no-brainer to me.
Absolutely.
I'd give them a second-round pick, and I'd be like,
I would have considered a first.
I'd give them a second-round pick. You can have N'Keal Harry, Dalton Keene, and anyone else you want that can't play. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need them. Throw them in just for laughs.
Because N'Keal Harry is still a first-round pick, technically, right? He's still young.
Yeah, and you're getting rid of an old receiver for a young guy. Yeah. Maybe he works better on your team. Work him up. I feel like N'Keal Harry is going to be the type of player to leave here and become a stud. I don't know why. I just have a weird vibe. Maybe not, but I just get worried about that.
You know who he is? Aaron Dobson 2.0.
True.
That's exactly who he is. Because we expected a lot out of Aaron Dobson, but we took him in round 2, I think.
Yeah, round 2.
Took him in the second round out of Marshall. Coming out of Marshall, Randy Moss talked about him. Aaron Dobson had a lot of hype behind him too. So, yeah. It's the same person. We just can't draft receivers, man.
Nope.
Can't draft receivers.
Unless you go with a stud. And it kills me, too, because, again, I'm going to regurgitate the fact that we could have had DK in the second round.
Could have DK.
Traded down.
Could have had A.J. Brown.
DK's a big one, though.
Mm-hmm. DK's a big one.
I think you get DK. Tom Brady might still be here. Tom Brady might still be here.
Depends, yeah.
You get DK, you have Edelman, you pick up a few other guys. You're got a great offensive line, and then you're talking hey, in a couple of years we're gonna have big money to get a bunch of guys hang around. And fast forward, we're in this year with Tom Brady, DK, maybe Hunter Henry, and a couple other guys.
Mm-hmm. That'd be something.
Yep.
That would have been something. Oh, what could have been, right?
Yep. Amen.
What could have been. Oh, what could have been.
I'll never live that down. I'll be talking about that till the day I die, I think.
Yep.
Just because I've told this story a gajillion times on air, but I remember sitting up at night. I was guaranteed we're going to take him. Couldn't believe he made it out of the first round. I was texting my dad, and I'm like, yeah, here it comes. We're going to get him. I remember, the pick before, nothing. I'm like, all right, picks up. We're on the clock. We got him. Thank God. I can't believe it happened. Oh, they trade down. Then like 2 picks later, boom, Seattle takes him. Like, unreal. Unreal. Never been so pissed. And at the time, it would have been great. You could have got DK and you could have had N'Keal Harry. And then you figure out N'Keal Harry's a bust, you get rid of him. Or maybe he's better when he has, Metcalf as competition or mentor.
Crazy, man. It's just crazy how an NFL draft kind of shakes out.
That's the problem with Bill, though. He lets friendships tie in too deep. He drafted N'Keal Harry for like a favor to his buddies.
Mac Jones.
Yep. Okay. Hey, I'll draft him for you. You say he's good, I'll take your word. Like, yeah, he could be good
settled for it.
Yeah, he could be good in the college thing. But I don't think he would have got picked until late second, early third. I think he would have fell pretty far. If DK fell mid-second, you could have gotten a N'Keal Harry way later. Come on now. Crazy.
It's crazy how it shapes up.
So Sox game's tied 1-1. Bottom of the first. End of first now.
Oh, the Sox.
Sorry, top.
The Sox.
Couple rough games against the Astros.
The Sox.
Couple rough goes against the Astros.
Talk about coming back down to earth, huh? In a sense.
Yeah, a little bit.
2 games back at Tampa now. You got the Yankees on your heels, even though the Yankees are playing like absolute garbage. You're still 10 games above 500, but you were teetering there for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I think they're coming back down to earth. They got to fight for a playoff spot. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be kind of like a hill or a roller coaster where they dip a little and then they skyrocket back up.
Especially with the trade deadline coming up, you need pitching. You need bullpen help. Bad. Our bullpen is trash. Not even to mention our starting pitching. Chris Sale ain't even back yet.
Yep.
And Erod has been on a huge slump. He's like 1-5 in his past 6 starts with like a sub-7 ERA. And that's your ace right now.
Yeah.
Technically, right?
Yep.
And then your bullpen is absolute garbage. That rookie is that rookie and Matt Barnes are literally the only 2 guys I trust in that bullpen at this point. Everybody else is just, and that bottom of the order, like your top of the order, your top 5 in the order is solid, but your role guys in that bottom of the lineup is not necessarily not as much as a problem as the bullpen, but you could easily go out and trade for a solid role player that can fill the bottom of the lineup, a Steve Pearce type of player, like what he did in 2018, a Shane Victorino type of guy, those role guys that can step up and come in clutch moments with like a runner in scoring position in less than 2 outs, right? Mm-hmm. A guy that can drive in someone in those types of situations. You can find those guys, and you don't have to trade a lot for them. Especially bullpen guys, you don't have to give up a lot either. Yeah. There are moves to be made. And I hope we don't just stand pat.
I don't know, man. Red Sox have been battling pitching and bullpen woes for quite some time.
Offense is carrying
them. They don't ever
them.
seem to do about anything. They let a lot of talent go, and they don't get any new talent in. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see.
We'll see what Chaim Bloom does. We'll see what he does.
Yeah, we'll see. And that does it. It's 9 o'clock.
Closing
Normally
time.
we play closing time.
Boom, 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 boom.
Maybe title will work.
Let me play the bass.
Ding, 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 ding.
Mm-hmm.
But on that note, that's it for us. Stick around. Should have a show next week, I believe. We're going to work on...
What's June? June what? Next week's June what? June 9th? Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I'll be there.
So, like I said, we're going to look into possibly changing the days. We got to get with all the guys and figure some things out.
Get a more consistent schedule.
We want a little more consistency here. So on that note, we appreciate you tuning in. A little bit of a late start, but we appreciate you sticking around. It's MVP Sports Talk. Nick and Ryan, we're out.
We out here.
That's all she wrote, folks.
See y'all next week.
Have a safe week. Enjoy your week. Bye-bye.